All right, we're back. I'm gonna be doing a little Q&A here from Instagram. Let's jump right in. Should we attend RASP PT if our AIT has it? Does it help with being prepared? So yeah, any level of RASP PT or SFAS PT or BUDS PT, whatever it's going to be, is going to be helpful. Most likely they either have people who were in that unit before leading that PT. But here's the reality. You're just showing up to a workout. You're getting a little bit of motivation. They're not helping you develop your plan specifically. It's not an everyday thing necessarily, depending on where you are. You're not getting coached directly to you. You're just being told, show up, do this PT. The funny thing is that these special operations selection courses are not based on PT. They understand that if we can just get enough guys to the PT level, then we'll get the numbers we need because the majority will still wash out and we'll be left with who we want to train. But you don't want to be that guy. So if you just do what they tell you to do, statistics say that you will be, in that 90% that washes out. That's why what we do here is a little bit different. I'm teaching you how to create your plan. I'm teaching you how to train your mind. I'm teaching you how to bust through plateaus as fast as possible, teaching you how to become the operator before you go. So is it helpful? Yes, but it's not everything. What shoes do I recommend? Flat feet too. Okay. One thing, if you have flat or flat-ish feet, you need to start doing a lot of things that are helping to train the foot to work correctly. You can look up a lot of things on YouTube on foot strength and foot health, doing things barefoot, rolling on golf balls and lacrosse balls and things like that. Really, really important. The issue with shoes is that you need to also be able to mimic what you're going to be utilizing in the military. For example, like if you're going for a ruck and you're looking at boots, you want to be able to use what you're going to use when you go in. So if it's the Army, for example, you have your AR 670-1 boots. I recommend Garmont's, things like that. Ideally for running shoes, you have a low drop in the heel. Okay, that just means that the heel is in line with the front of the foot. That's going to help you not heel strike. How can I become Delta or Ranger after West Point or ROTC? So the officer route is essentially you have to go to a unit, you'll have to spend some time there, and then you will essentially apply and get recommended to go to a higher level unit. What do you think about Guard SF in the 20th group? I think SF in the Guard or anything like that is a really good option for people. But you're going into special operations, so you're trying to go all the way, which means why not get the full experience? And then if you decide later on, like, hey, I'm having a family, I want to do something a little bit different, then you can do Guard SF. There are, however, a lot of opportunities for guys in the Guard to get more active duty like hours or time. So you might want to explore those options too. But I would just think go all the way. Pros and cons of going to special forces as an officer or enlisted. All right, so let's do this. Obviously, the pros for officers are that you get paid a little bit more. You don't have to spend any time in barracks, anything like that. But to be honest, you're also losing one of the biggest amazing things about being enlisted is the friends that you make. You go through with this class, you stay with them, right? Officers are always getting moved around. So you're not with the team. The other thing for, junior officers, you still, you get treated a little harshly by the more senior officers. The same thing in the enlisted ranks. You have to understand that the officer versus enlisted dilemma or question really needs to be on the job you want. Do you want to be managing the team or do you want to be on the field playing? Now, at the platoon leader or company commander level, you may get chances, and you will get chances to go on missions and be on the field, but you're not in the game, right? It's almost like coaching from the sidelines versus being the quarterback, if that makes sense. How often do 13 Foxes, forward observers, work with 11 Bravos, infantrymen? Like every training, or do they do separate things and come together for combined trainings? So on a mission, the job of the forward observer is to control all the air assets in the sky, drones, planes, fire jets, helicopters. So they will always be with the infantrymen on missions. As far as training goes, There will be training that's done together, and there will be training that is done separately, right? They will need to get better and better at their specific job, so they will go to schools and do trainings based on that. Same with the infantrymen, and then they will come together to utilize them. There will be some crossover, but it's not necessarily a ton. But yes, the forward observers are much, much more attached to the platoon than potentially some other jobs, like a dog handler, at least in a ranger sense. Best way to deal with injuries, knee, ankle, hip. The best way to deal with them is to prevent them. You guys really need to level up your game in terms of mobility. Really need to focus on this. The only thing that's going to take you out of selection if you're physically or mentally prepared is an injury. You have to get on that now. It has to be a part of your training. Best way to deal with them, you have to find ways to fix them proactively. You have to do other training that doesn't affect them, and you really have to watch your mind in that negative thinking pattern. How do I get selected at SFAS? I don't have any schools or any deployments as an E4. Can I even get selected? Yes, you have to remember that in special operations, they are not looking for accolades. It is not a resume contest. They are looking for the right type of human that they can mold and create into a special operations soldier. That is the whole reason why they have the 18X program, the Option 40 program, the SEAL contracts. They pull guys off the street. They don't care about your background. They care who you are. That's why what we focus on here is who you are. Elaborate on the difference between the patch and the scroll. Okay, so the Army makes this confusing. Ranger assessment and selection, which gives you a scroll, gets you into a special operations unit called the 75th Ranger Regiment. Ranger School is a leadership school. Small unit tactics, leadership school. There are other schools like this in the Navy and in the Marines. The Army just happens to call it Ranger School. That's the tab. But a SEAL could go to Ranger School, right? David Goggins went to Ranger School. Does that make him in the 75th Ranger Regiment as a Ranger? No, he's a SEAL. He's just qualified from Ranger School. Any study tips or guides for the ASVAB? Okay, so when I took the ASVAB, I went on a little practice test. I was in college, and I was like, oh, shit, I don't remember how to do, long division by hand, right? So I just had to relearn some of those things. You want to focus on math and reading comprehension. That's what the GT General Technical Score is. There are a ton of free study guides out there. It is not about the tools. It is about your discipline to simply go ahead and do it and practice every single day. It is not a difficult test. You guys that think that you don't have to be smart to be in special operations are completely wrong. I was doing math every day of my career, building demolitions, ballistics, all sorts of things. You need to know how to do that stuff. What's the mindset going into SFAS? Well, the mindset needs to be that I will do everything that I can to finish. I will do everything that I can to help my team. I will stay focused. I will not negotiate with my mind. We recently did, inside the blueprint, we've got an interview with a former 18 Alpha, Green Beret, and he talks about SFAS a lot. What do 68 whiskeys or medics do when they aren't assessing and treating casualties? Do they go on missions? And what's the pipeline? Yeah, so the medic is always on the missions. That's a great thing about being the medic. You have to have a medic out there. But the medic essentially stays with the officer, the forward observer, like in the back, almost off the field, right? Like where a coach would stand in a football game, because you can't have the medic getting hurt. That's the whole idea. So the reality is the medic is hanging out for a lot of the time. He's still out there, but when you need the medic, you need the medic. These SOCM trained medics are incredible. I have multiple people that I know that should absolutely be dead that were saved by the medics. The pipeline is essentially the same thing. Like if you're going 68 whiskey for a Ranger, you go to RASP and everything. But after that, you go to SOCM, the Special Operations Combat Medic course that a lot of their special operations units use as well. And that's where you do all your medical training. And then you will go to, let's say, your Ranger Battalion. So you'll just be kind of a little bit behind your class because you had to go to that school. Can I enter the Rangers or Marine Raiders with asthma? Okay, this is a difficult one, right? I was diagnosed with exercise-induced asthma as a kid. I didn't have a full-blown asthma and didn't really notice anything as an adult. If you have, like, legit asthma and it actually affects you with an inhaler now, it's probably gonna be difficult for you, but we have a waiver process and something on medical records inside the blueprint as well should help you out a ton. Um, all right, let me reload these messages really quick and these questions, see if we got anything new. Doesn't look like we did. Hopefully you guys like this. If you have other questions, you can text me. My number is, I'm going to put it in the description of this video. Geez, can't talk. It's also in the link on this channel. So go there, you can text, we can talk about this. I'll show you some things on the inside. Make sure that you have every opportunity to have all of the knowledge that you need. Remember that mentorship is one of the most powerful things you will have going down this path. Always gather the knowledge from people who have been there before you. It will accelerate everything that you do in life, and I continue to do it to this day. So we'll do these again soon. Hope this was helpful.